Hey guys, what's up? My name is Kobe Jarrow and welcome to this week's episode of Sidewalk Docs. Today, we'll be looking at the results from the 2018 DJ Mag Top 100. While these results are often controversial and many fans think that they don't do certain artists justice, they still do have an important part, so we're going to start by looking at the history of the poll. Initially, the poll was done by people working for the magazine. They unanimously decide which DJs or artists made really big strides in music that year, and that person would be nominated the top DJ of the year. In 1997, the poll for the first time was open to the public. This created a whole culture of DJs for many reasons looking to get on the poll. Some DJs wanted to boost their ego and wanted to feel good, and this was a way to validate their feelings. As it evolved, it also became a way for DJs to break into new markets and smaller markets, especially in places like Asia, where Spotify and social media is often blocked, and so for example, in China, they don't have other ways to tell who is a popular DJ and who is not. And so this list sort of helps DJs get more shows and bookings in China because they don't have another way to show who's popular. Also, DJs' booking fees often depend on how well their last shows sold. When they haven't played any shows in markets like China or other Asian countries, they don't have that statistic. And so instead, promoters and fans might look to the DJ Mag to see which artists they should go see or which artists the promoter should book simply because these artists are popular on the magazine and they don't have another way to rank them. Because of this, DJs will often pay both allegedly DJ Mag as well as marketing companies to make sponsored posts that will help them get votes so they can potentially break into the Asian and Chinese markets to play more shows in these regions. So if we start by looking at the top 10 results, we see for the third year in a row, Martin Garrix is the top DJ. What's interesting is that the top 10 for the most part stayed the same between 2017 and 2018, with a little bit of movement between certain places, but mostly it didn't change too much. Steve Aoki did drop out of the top 10, even though he was touring really heavily and put out quite a bit of music. That's something that's sort of interesting, and an even bigger change was that the Chainsmokers dropped from number 6 all the way to number 31, 25 spots. And I think a large part of that is because they weren't releasing many singles this year, and even though they were playing a lot of shows, they weren't as much on people's minds as maybe they were last year. Their last album was more of a pop crossover, and it's possible that fans didn't relate with it as much as their more electronic music. After steadily rising for the last 4 or so years, Don Diablo finally broke into the top 10. I think he really deserves this spot because he's made many great club and some pop crossover tracks, working with everyone from Gucci Mane to Arizona, and really having a very strong year, as well as touring quite a bit. Eric Prydz, who's been a staple in dance music for nearly 20 years, gained 20 spots this year. Part of that probably is due to his touring and his live show. He played many big international venues and stepped up his live production, having more incredible visuals and light shows than ever. Exposing his fans to all these live elements probably helped excel him up 20 spots in the DJ Mag. Although Skrillex has been one of the biggest names in EDM since 2012, he dropped 5 spots this year to 21. He wasn't putting out very many original singles, and he didn't tour barely at all, so because he wasn't really on people's minds so much, that was probably part of the reason he dropped a few spots. Kygo, Calvin Harris, Diplo, and Zedd all dropped a few spots this year, and even though they're big names in dance music, all 4 of these artists focused more primarily on pop and pop crossovers. While they're exposed to new fans overall, many of these fans may not be as interested in electronic music or in voting for them in the poll, and so because of this, they dropped spots even though their overall recognition may have gone up. Another interesting artist is Deadmau5, who was 5th in 2012, and this year was 59th. While he's one of the biggest names in dance music, he really didn't release very much electronic music this year, and instead focused more on his own personal projects as well as his label. He did release a classical album, but I'm sure this didn't really help him get any votes, even though it was an incredible body of work. It's cool to see Swedish House Mafia back at 63 after a few-year hiatus, and I think as they play more shows and hopefully release more music over the next year, they'll be even higher in the DJ Mag Top 100 for 2019. We see that Chami placed 82nd. This feels like someone to me who should have been a lot higher. He had a huge year, touring with Mala for their No Redemption tour, and he also released many singles that did extremely well and were played out by many DJs. Even though he's up 13 from last year, it still feels like he should be higher than 82. Now on the flip side of that, we see just 2 spots down, there's DJ L. DJ L is a Chinese producer and DJ who is from China and who last year was on the DJ Mag as well. I have never heard of him, and it seems from reactions on Twitter the general electronic music population has never really heard of him either. On Spotify, he has less than 200 monthly listeners. So how did he get there? It's a good question. I think part of it is that he's a Chinese artist, and so for him to be on this list may be really important so he can secure more shows. And not only that, to give him the benefit of the doubt, most Chinese music listeners don't use Spotify, so it's possible that he has really high streaming numbers on a site like Tencent or another Chinese streaming platform, and he's just not that popular on Spotify. But it does make you question why he placed on the list as opposed to a DJ who really put in a lot of hard work and maybe played more shows or put out more music and maybe a little more deserving to be on the list. Also, everyone on this list has a little bio, and DJ L said that his breakthrough artist of 2018 was DJ Snake. Now, when I think of the term breakthrough artist, I usually think of someone who's breaking out for the first time. DJ Snake has easily been a breakthrough artist since 2012. DJ Snake also placed 24th on this list, so I think it's a little bit hard to say that he was 2018's breakthrough artist. Another interesting DJ duo in the poll is Da Tweekaz. Now, they make hardstyle, and I don't listen to that much hardstyle, but it's still a name that I'm unfamiliar with. Additionally, in their bio on the list, it says that they are keen brand builders and just released a new line of t-shirts, hats, swim shorts, tequila, and vodka shot glasses. So you know they're really in it for the music. Coming in at 98th is a DJ duo called Rave Republic. They have about 14,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, and I've never heard of them before. This duo is from Singapore, so it's possible that they also have a lot to gain by being on this list and made large marketing efforts to be placed at 98. There's a good chance that they wanted to break into a new market or maybe play more shows or get higher booking fees at the places they're already playing, and they saw DJ Mag as a great way to do this. So it's hard to say exactly why they're on the list. Maybe they're really popular, but also it's possible they wanted to play more shows in Asia or make more money at the shows they're already playing. What's disappointing to me is last year in 2017, there were 4 women DJ producers. This year there's 6, so I guess that's an improvement. But for me, more than anything, I think it's unfair that there isn't a larger representation. There are so many talented women DJ and producers that don't make it on this list when people who shall not be named do make it on this list for some reason. I mean, just look at people like Rez or Miha, Anna Luno, Cray, Whipped Cream, and so many others who are so deserving of a spot on this list, and yet people that we have maybe never heard of get on just because it's important for them to play more shows or it's important to get a higher booking fee. It makes you really question what's the point of the DJ Mag if they don't actually show authentic talent on the list. Also, on DJ Mag's list, there were very few trap producers. We see Yellowclaw at 47, and then Nightmare at 83, Alice in Wonderland at 96, and Slander at 100. But besides that, there's very few DJ producers on the list who make primarily trap music. DJ Mag did release the top countries for this year, and US was number 1, so it's a little surprising to me that trap producers weren't more prominent on the list. If we briefly take a look at Reddit's 2018 DJ Top 100 list, we see that Martin Garrix actually is first in this list as well, and Illenium is second, just like last year. This list features a more diverse list of genres, and because it's still a popularity contest, the results may not be perfect. I feel like it does a better job of shedding a light on some up-and-coming producers or producers who are doing really cool things this year. We see Rez, who's on here, as well as Fisher, who's had a big year, Chris Lake, 1788L, Odessa, who released an awesome album. Also, Porter Robinson is on there twice, because Virtual Self is on there, so good job, Porter, you did it. But even though this list maybe isn't perfect, I feel like it does a slightly better job of encompassing a wider variety of the types of electronic music that people are listening to. It's sometimes hard because the poll doesn't seem like it represents the best artists or even the most popular artists at the moment. The thing is though, I feel like year after year, even though the list is so controversial, it will continue to play a part in electronic music. What do you think would make the DJ Mag Top 100 better, and how do you feel about this year's results? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you all next time, and I hope you have a great week.